Hello everybody and welcome to the next episode of the Super Smash Bros. Fractured series. And if you haven't watched part 1, you gotta go watch part 1 or you're really not gonna understand what this episode's about. This is episode 2 of talking about my concept for a new Super Smash Bros. Game, Super Smash Bros. 6, which I'm calling it Super Smash Bros. Fractured. And today we're gonna be going over the last amount of cast members that are gonna be added in Smash. And I'm just going to say this right now, there are a bunch of new characters that I've decided to add. Now, disclaimer real quick, let's get into the disclaimer. There are going to be some characters on this list who are a little lackluster, and they were a little harder to design, because some of these series I don't really know that well. But I feel like they just, they kind of fit the mold. So I'll say if I don't know the series that well, I'll say like, hey, I don't really know the series that well, but I felt like they just fit the mold for a new Smash game. Anyways, let's get into this. And if you enjoy this type of content, please consider liking and subscribing, because I'm gonna be pumping this out more often if I can. Let's just get into it with our next character, as I showed in the last episode, just Bandanities. Bandanities is a really simple character, he's just a spear. He uses a spear, he's also able to fly like most characters. Special costume over here is, of course, a gold mask from Kirby, since Bandanity doesn't really have anything special to him. Groundbreaking. And his final smash is just throwing many spears into the air, and they just start to, fall down onto the map. And then next up, we have Black Shadow from F-Zero. And if we're going to get a new F-Zero rep, then I feel like Black Shadow makes the most sense. Now, he's a very slow and clunky character. He can also do Shadow Punch. He has similar moves to Captain Falcon. He's a combination of Ganon and Captain Falcon if they were one character. His final smash is ramming his horns into the opponent, and doing the same type of final smash as Falcon. So instead of just standing still, getting hit by, Captain Falcon's car, whatever you want to call it, Black Shadow instead rams forward to attack the opponent. And his special variant is the silver style that I actually found online. There's really nothing else for Black Shadow. I could have given him the same type of armor Captain Falcon had, but I feel like this one just saw him fit better, since, this was something that he actually has. This is from, I think, a magazine. Let's move into it. And of course, we have Shadow the Hedgehog. So Shadow the Hedgehog utilizes, stuns. He can, he does stuns like Mewtwo. He, of course, uses Chaos Energy. He's fast like Sonic. He can use a gun, motorcycle like Wario. So his final smash is, instead of, going Super Shadow, he uses Chaos Control Stun all the opponents, and you gain Doom powers. So these Doom powers let you fly around, and you get to swipe at the opponents while they're stunned. And then, his skin is Terios, which was, the beta design. I think this one was added to Sonic X Shadow Generations as a playable character. I personally don't own the game, but I do believe that Terios was added. This would gain him new voice lines, a new announcer. This would not be an Echo Fighter, but this would just be, his own skin instead of an Echo Fighter like Slippy and Peppy are. And then we have Shantae from the Shantae series. Now, Shantae can do different transformations to attack, all that. Shantae can also use her hair to attack. Now, with her hair, it has long-range capabilities, as well as, being able to use her genie powers, and also, transformations, like I said. Now, her final smash is going into the Seer form, which is right there. Now, I don't understand fully how the Seer form works, but I found out that this is one of her strongest and most iconic things. The Seer form, is something, I guess, iconic from the games. But basically, the Seer form, locking Magic Blast onto the opponent like Rob does, firing them, and then going over to the opponents and taking them in before slamming them onto the stage. So basically, she locks onto you like Rob's blast, and then goes to the nearest opponent, grabs you, and then slamming you onto the stage, and you get spiked back upwards. And then her special variant is this like ninja variant that I found. And we move into Rayman. So of course we got Rayman, and Rayman does far range attacks. He fights with axes, plunger guns, all that. And his final form is summoning a bunch of Electoons to swarm the opponents. His special variant would be from Captain Laserhawk. If you ever watched Captain Laserhawk, it's a pretty decent show. That's a pretty good show, and Rayman's a very big prominent character. Next up, we have Morgan from Darkstalkers, which is a Capcom character. I feel like Morgan could fit in the face of Smash Bros. In some way, because more Capcom character Darkstalkers has been featured in Marvel vs. Capcom. I just feel in some way Morgan could maybe be featured up in Smash. So Morgan can, reshape her wings into rockets, propel herself forward, all that. She can even have a little levitation ability. Now, her final smash is being a replica of herself, rushing down the opponent, and both of them acting as one. And a special variant is this one right here, which is just like a type of casual form. And then of course we have Phoenix Wright from Ace Attorney, another Capcom character, and his Ega fighter would be Miles Edgeworth. So Phoenix, uses evidence, which is weapons, to invoke the law. And his final smash is just yelling the word objection, just stunning everybody and attacking them. And then his special variant is his suit becomes gold with a bunch of medals on it. This also works for Miles Edgeworth. And then of course we have Jibanyan. Jibanyan is an amazing character from Nintendo. He needs to come back. Yoko Watch just needs to come back in general. Of course, very simple character. He punches and dashes to attack people. His final smash is Balls of Fury, and his skin here is, I think this is Rubinyan, I forget. But we have our first super unique character with swap abilities. So we're gonna go over these guys right here, and these add new announcers and voice lines. So we have Badnyan, Buchinyan, Tomanyan, Oranyan, Wobblenyan, Jibanyan B, and Draconyan. And then we move to Bomberman. Now I bet you're thinking, oh, how can Bomberman be a character if the Bomberman can't jump? Nintendo said screw that in Smash 5, Ultimate. They said screw that. They made him an assist trophy and he's able to jump. So just make him playable at this point. He punches, throws bombs, uses items from the game. His final smash is throwing a giant bomb down, making it go in a plus and X shape. Like the big plus and X shaped bomb. I forget what it's called. I think it's the X bomb. Either way, we have another unique character with unique skins. We get the Karaoke Bomber skin. I just felt like this one, fit Bomberman in some way. And we have, all the others, which get an outside line. So you have black, pink, blue, red, yellow, aqua, and green. And we move to our grass representative, which we still don't have a representative for Sword and Shield, and we still don't have a representative for the grass type. Now, most people think, oh, let's get Masquerada in the game. I say no. I would love to play as Masquerada in this game, but there's a fully big reason I don't want Masquerada, because I have another Pokemon rep coming up soon in this list who is not part of the base roster, but is part of DLC, which you'll see later on. So we got Rillaboom here, is a very tanky character similar to Donkey Kong. It would be mostly a clone in his base move, so his A attacks would be mostly just like Donkey Kong, but his special B attacks would be unique to his own. He'd be able to use his drums, stun opponents, and all that. His final smash is, of course, going Gigantamax, slamming on the stage. Special variant is his shiny, because what other variant would you really do for Pokemon? Make all their special variants just shinies. It's realistically easier. And then, of course, we have Dr. Eggman. Dr. Eggman, how could you not want him in the game? Dr. Eggman uses Badniks, any, attacks from afar. Basically, he would be kind of like a glass cannon fighter. He's super strong, except he's very, very lightweight. His final smash is going into this mech right here. I forget which game this is from. I think this is from Sonic Forces. I remember during my playthrough of Sonic Forces that I did. Not on the channel, of course, but I replayed Sonic Forces one time. I think this is the one. You get the fire bullets and you get to step forward. And of course, what other skin other than Eggman Nega? It makes the most sense to put Eggman Nega in here. It's either Vast or Gerald Urbanic, but Gerald doesn't really fit. Eggman Nega fits better for Dr. Eggman. Let me move to Shovel Knight. This is an indie character who's also featured in, what's that again? Rivals of Aether. Now, this would be a little harder to get, but Shovel Knight does have Amiibo, and he is affiliated with Nintendo in a way. So, of course, Shovel Knight uses Trusted Gems, and he attacks. Now, he would not have the exact same moveset of Rivals of Aether, but instead he would be able to have something similar. If he collects 100 gems, he gets a large buff to his standard attacks, but he can lose them over time, and this only lasts for 15 seconds. His final smash is a cutscene with him, Shield Knight, Spectre, King, and Plague all teaming up to do a devastating blow, and his special variant is the Dark Knight. And then we have Skull Kid. Now, Skull Kid is my personal favorite Zelda character. He's always been my favorite Zelda character ever since I've seen him. He's really cool. Skull Kid controls weather elements. You can get lightning strikes, you can get different buffs and debuffs on himself or onto you. Special smash is summoning the Evil Moon, of course. And his skin, or his special variant, is a Twilight Princess variant, which this is theorized to be the same Skull Kid. Probably not. This is just a Skull Kid. Either way, Twilight Princess variant. And then we have the Hat Kid. Now, Hat Kid is sometimes associated with Nintendo. Being an indie game makes sense. The Hat Kid uses different hats to, give themselves abilities. So, you can get stuns and everything. Her final smash is using the time hatch stop time, stunning everybody, and giving her the chance to run around. When you hit them, they do take damage, but they don't take the knockback until it's over. So once everything is over, all that damage that you've done to the opponent, they're going to take all that knockback instantly. And, you get this Neko special variant here. And then we got Toad, and Toadette is the Echo Fighter to Toad. So we have Toad. Toad's final smash is turning into Captain Toad and running around in a minecart. So basically, you sit in a minecart and you get to go across the map. You can also jump and you swing your pickaxe around to, deal damage. And the special variant is Captain Toad and Captain Toadette and stays on after and before. So you just get to say as Captain Toad or Captain Toadette all the time. And then we have Alucard. Now, I'll say this right now, I don't know much about Castlevania. I've seen a bit of Castlevania media. I think Castlevania is cool. I haven't played any of the games. I haven't, gotten into it. But I have found that Alucard is just my personal favorite character and the most realistic next Castlevania character to bring in. Alucard can, he can shapeshift a bit. He can use dark magic and, of course, his trusty sword. You have the special variant here, which I think is supposed to be a classic look. And Alucard's final smash is summoning large fireballs across the stage. And then we have number 100 being Paper Mario, and the special variant's Gold. Now, Paper Mario, he's in the same type of 2D style as Game & Watch. Paper Mario uses hammers, ground pounds, and attacks like that. Now, his final smash is calling all the assists from Paper Mario, I think it was Thousand Year Door, if I remember correctly. Thousand Year Door, I think. I'm gonna, correct me if I'm wrong. He, calls up all the assists. You stomp the opponents. It's mostly it. It's more like, kind of similar to Shulk's. And then we have Crystal. I don't know much about Star Fox. I've said this before. Crystal can use her ice staff to damage you, and her final smash is freezing you, falling upon the Star Fox team to gun you down. You have this special variant right here. And then we have the Chorus Kids. Now the Chorus Kids, they kick, throw each other, everything. Not much special to do for them. Their final smash is the three of them start singing and make music notes that run across the stage and attack people. And then their special rank could be based on the switch steppers. So you have the middle one could be the grayish, and then the other two could be white, or they could just be half and halves. And then we have Chibi Robo. So Chibi Robo can, of course, use cord and all that to attack opponents, as well as other things from the game with little items. So Smash is becoming Super Chibi Robo, allows you to control him, blasting large sound waves. And of course, special variant is just staying as Super Chibi Robo. And then Isaac from Golden Sun with Matthew as his Echo Fighter. Isaac, of course, uses Synergy on summons. His final smash is summoning Catastrophe. His sword beams down, you get a giant explosion, and a purple mist dragon attacks you. That's basically what Catastrophe does. And his special variant is this one from, I think this is the Dark Dawn look. And then for Matthew, since Matthew is from Dark Dawn, Matthew's look would just be him covered in shadows, representing the title of Dark Dawn. I give you a little spoiler there. That was an accident. To see either way, I guess, number 105 is Hatsune Miku. Miku can use, different skills, music stuff, and guns. Because why not? We got the special variant, which is Miku's Nintendo Fitness Boxing. And then Miku's final smash is doing, the Miku beam. Basically, it hits once, but you can do it a second time. Then the 1, 2, it's 1, 2, 3, Miku beam, and then again, which second time, now you can control where it goes. So the first time, you don't get to control where it goes, you stand. Second time, you're able to control the beam, like Samus's, where you can move it around. And then, we have her skins here. I think I can maybe name some of these. So we have Sakura Miku. We have the Miku Who Can't Sing, Mesmerizer, Hachi's Dune. Don't remember the one on the end, Sonic, and I don't remember the circus one. And then we have Ruby Rose. Now, Ruby is my favorite anime ever. I'll say this right now. It's my favorite anime, and I will find, quite literally, any way to sneak in any form of Ruby media into anything I do. It's my favorite show. I'm super biased. This would be my main. So Ruby Rose, if you don't know, uses a scythe. It's also a customizable high-impact sniper rifle, which means it's just a gun. Our final smash is just calling on the entirety of Team Ruby, as you can see down there, dashing at the opponent, slashing them, and there are variants from Ice Queendom. And here we have, again, she has special variants. So the Beacon Arc would have 2 skins, Post Veil would have 2 skins, Atlas would have 2 skins, and then Volume 10 and up would have no other skin, which we sadly don't know what Volume 10 looks like still, but we can also tell, right there. Volume 10 is definitely different from Atlas. And then an odd character that I thought would be nice would be Cheshire from Bayonetta. Forgot which Bayonetta was. It's like the Legend of Cerezer or whatever. Cerezer just sits in the background like Pokemon Trainer, kind of. So Cheshire can teleport, swipe at opponents. Very tanky character, while Cerezer sits in the background. And you're still able to use her as a playable character where she, tangles opponents. His final smash is entering a rage mode, giving him a large buff, and Cerezer stunning frequently. And the special variant is based off on the newer modern Cheshire. Well, not modern Cheshire, OG, original Cheshire from Bayonetta. And then, you have the special variants. So you have the grass, I think this is the rock, water, fire, and then the enraged. And then a nice white variant. And then we have Zero from Mega Man. Of course, Zero just uses his sword. I mean, nothing really special about Zero, just an average sword fighter. His final smash is slashing the opponent, trapping them in a barrage of mid-air slashes, and then he sends them down with one large blast. And then they got this special variant of Zero that I found. And then we have Ashley in red. Now, Ashley in red work as a double character like Rosalina and Luma. Not Pauline, Rosalina and Luma. Ashley is the main fighter, while red just fights alongside her. Fire blasts, shoot from wands, and of course red does, pitchfork stuff. But I've come up with a fully original thing that's never happened in the games. Final Smash is Ashley becoming large and going into the background. Red becomes large and becomes more devilish and looking like a true demon. Crazy, I know. You can play as Red and you stab down with your large pitchfork, while Ashley is uncontrollable and shooting beams in the background. And we have this, special parasol variant for Ashley. And then we have Link from Fire Emblem. Now, I've already said it before in the last episode. I don't know much about Fire Emblem. I'm not crazy on that game. Just give Link the Engage outfit. She just Final Smash, stabs the opponent, rushing them in a barrage of attacks. Most Fire Emblem characters are quite literally similar to each other. If anything, she could just be like a secondary Echo Fighter for maybe Marth or Roy, or even an Echo Fighter to Ike now. And then we have Funky Kong. Who doesn't want Funky Kong? Given the classic special variant, Funky Kong, of course, uses surfboards and cool moves to attack the opponents. And his Final Smash is surfing across the map, knocking anybody off stage. So Squirtle or Piplup will use, the ability of like a water jet propelling themselves forward. This is what Funky Kong does. He can jump around, and when he jumps, the wave stays with the surfboard, so it's propelling him upward. Anybody caught underneath is still damaged. And then we have Dixie Kong, which I don't understand why Dixie Kong isn't in the game. Of course, uses her hair to fly and fight. Her final smash is calling upon Diddy Kong, with them both wielding peanut shooters, and damage them. And give Dixie the special variant based on the White Kong. The I forgot his name. It's like a special Kong. Like a mortal one. He's like white, looks exactly like DK. And there's also a special version of Diddy Kong. Either way, Dixie would get one just based off on the white variants. And then we have Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day. So of course, Conker uses military-style weapons. However, Conker actually has a gimmick to him. So Conker has a bar next to his icon. Finally, first bar character we have here. He has an ammo meter, and this goes up over time after firing his gun. You need to reload this and everything. Meter needs to reload over time. And his final smash is calling upon the Great Mighty Pooh to throw sludge onto the opponent. And his special variant is this militaristic outfit. And then we have Penny from Penny's Big Breakaway. Penny would get a 2D line art variant, as just hers, making her look like Game & Watch more. Her final smash is just, making her yo-yo larger and spinning down the stage, squashing opponents. And then we have Mai from King of Fighters, a secondary King of Fighters character, and a character that just was fully refused to be put into Ultimate, which I feel is crazy, even though Mai got a redesign. And I forget which King of Fighters game it is. She's even in the new Street Fighter game. She's also, I think, in King of Fighters City of Wolves. I think it's pretty crazy how Mai still doesn't have any representation in Smash Bros. Of course, Mai uses her fire abilities. And her final smash is taking you into a cutscene, you're in a fire tornado, rushes you in multiple sweeps for a fan. Her special variant would, of course, be based on her original look. And then we have our Guilty Gear rep. Now, I bet most people would rather want Soul Bad Guy. I bet most people would rather have Kai. the main characters. However, I feel like putting Soul or Kai, or I don't know, even Ragnar the Blood Edge from Blaze Blue just doesn't really fit. I feel like putting a secondary character like Bridget, Sin, Unica, those are newer characters, or even Happy Chaos, maybe even Pyken into this game, fit more. But I feel like Bridget fits the mold more. Bridget uses, of course, her yo-yo and her bear, Roger. Final Smash is Roger going larger and bear hugging the opponents, damaging them over time, and you get this special variant that was in the latest DLC, which I think the season 4 or season 3, I don't remember. And then we have Mach Rider, which was Mach Rider was a canceled character, if you don't know. So we're getting into the category of a couple canceled characters. Special variants is a version of Mach Rider I found online. Mach Rider, of course, dashes around the stage, shooting bullets out of his cannon, guns, whatever you want to call them. His Final Smash taking you into a cutscene, circling you and just shooting you repeatedly. And then we have Takamaru from the mysterious Masamune Castle. I don't know much about this game, I'll say this right now. Takamaru, of course, hops around with blades and paintball knives. His Final Smash is slashing you, then going into a cutscene, throws you into the castle, he jumps you, all that, normal. And then we have Ayumi Tachibana, and how Wario has his ults for the biker outfits and the normal outfits. This is exactly how it works. So you would have a secondary older and younger swap. The special variant is like literally nothing. It's just her getting a pink shirt. Not much for Ayumi. So Ayumi uses murder weapons lying around to actually attack and different clues. Now, here's where it gets crazy. She has the ability to build up her Final Smash meter even on non-Final Smash modes. Now this is game changing. This is crazy. Now very different. Over time, the meter will change as if she finds clues on the map, which are little items that spawn when you play as her. Now this builds up her FS meter again, even if there's no Final Smash mode on, or Smash Ball, or whatever. Final Smash is just sending you to jail. And you see a time skip where your character is rotten into a skeleton before ending the cutscene where you just get thrown out of the prison. You just get damaged. You don't, fully die or anything. It's just a small thing to just show. There's nothing really much you can do for the Famicom Detective Club because it's mostly just a mystery game. So you can really just show how Ayumi is, kind of a detective in some way. I don't play this game, by the way. I had to look up a bunch of this stuff, and I had to come up with the Final Smash. And then we have Balloon Fighter, from Balloon Fighter, of course. The Balloon Fighter is a classic character who is also not put into Smash Bros. And Smash Bros. Is becoming gold. Final Smash is, having the big fish from the game eat you. And Balloon Fighter has the gimmick where he can always have infinite jumps unless his balloons are popped, which then, he has to regenerate over time. We have also the Excite Biker, who is another canceled character. Now, the Excite Biker can hop around, using ramps, and summoning small retro Excite Bikers. His Final Smash is dashing on the map to catch the opponents into a cutscene, and then after this, runs them over on the track. Spider-Man Gold, and we're coming into our last characters with Plus and Mind them. Two canceled characters again. Plus and Mind them use their electricity. Special variant is just their weird looking shiny. The Final Smash is using a strong Thunderbolt. And we come to our last character of the day with the Slime from Dragon Quest. Now, the Slime can transform into different versions of different slimes itself to attack, and its Final Smash is becoming a King Slime, summoning multiple other versions of slimes thrown across the stage. Now, we're going to stop here for today's episode, and that was the final normal characters, and in the next one, we're going to be going over lore bosses. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you really do want to keep seeing my ideas, then of course make sure to subscribe, turn that bell on, check the community posts because I'm going to be posting there more often now. I'm going to be giving updates on future videos. I'm going to be giving updates on new things to come, so stay tuned there. Have a blessed day. And remember, Move by Malice updates every Saturday. So, without further ado, I take my leave. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.